Black man, I come to you as a black man, talking to you, letting you know that I appreciate you being black, being a man, and that I understand your struggle, I understand your story, the many stories that we have. I understand what it means to put your woman on a pedestal only to be treated like shit by that said woman, and that woman of being of your own color, and some of not being of our own color. I understand the plight of going out there and doing work, just feeling unappreciated by your peers, the people that you work so damn hard for. Go to work 14 to 15 hours, only to come home and the best thing you can get is the big piece of chicken. It's time, black men, that we take command of what is truly ours, and that's this life and ourselves. And don't get me wrong, black man, there's a lot of us that have been wronged. There's a lot of us that have done wronged. Pain is pain, and pain begets pain. Pain projects more pain until you decide that you're just gonna use love. So I call upon you to love yourself. Love yourself. You are more than your jump shot. You are more than what you say in the booth. You are more than working at the bank. You are more than the many jobs that we have. You're practically royalty because you are a man, because you are human for that matter. You're not better than anyone else, and no one's better than you. You are simply man. You are human. But more importantly, you are valued. So I value you. Let me tell you why I value you. I value you for your strength. I value you for your courage. I value you for the tenacity and determination to get up every morning for a family who may not be able to appreciate you just yet, as far as like how much that you put into your family, the things that you do when they don't even know, the things you do for them when they're asleep, the things you do for them when they're not around. I'm grateful for you. I thank you for keeping the lights on. I thank you for protecting this family in struggle. I thank you for so many things that go beyond the natural eye, the untrained eye. You are amazing, black man. We are amazing. The things that we do when we're operating in our masculine and not in our feminine. One thing we have to do is learn how to hone in our emotional intelligence. Without it, we are lost. We will die. We will die. We will die if we do not understand how to operate with our emotional intelligence. Yes, the world fears us. They see us, some see us as animals, caged animals, and some of us go along with the script and act like caged animals. I'm calling upon all giants, all beasts, all men, warriors, if you will, to use your strength for the benefit of our culture, benefit of our men, to change what was done before, to not fight your brother, to love your brother instead, but also have your boundaries. And don't take no shit from no one, not even from our women. I call upon you to be men, set the frame. Let them know that they're protected. Let them know that they are safe. But it has to go by your ability to lead. Your leadership, not theirs. There's no room for two chiefs. It is us, men, us black men. We must lead. We must not cower before adversity. The many times that we've done it, myself included, has done. We must stand tall. We must be strong. We must protect our own, but we must not tolerate any fuckery. And that goes from any of the women that we choose to be with. We do not tolerate the disrespect. We will not have that. We will value each other. We will not take advantage of each other. We will not be entitled. We will not have adverse expectations of one. We will not exercise our ego to tear down the ones that we love. We will not do that. We are here to rise above, create healthy relationships, to create wealth for our families so that our kids and their kids and their kids and their kids will be fine, well off, and they don't have to worry about struggling they can go into something healthy. But black man, I see you. I see your fears. I understand them. It's all right to have fears, but we have to do it anyway. We're not able to just go off of how we feel and not do things. We have to decide if it's beneficial. If it's something that we should do, then we have to do it despite our fear. And I'm speaking to myself in the mirror as a black man who lives with fears, who lives with struggle, who lives with trauma, who lives with pain, and deciding to do something different, do something that scares me every day. But I love you, black man. I see your pain. And let you know that we have a community, that we can strive together, continue to grow. Forgive yourself and others. Stay focused on your goals. Love yourself unconditionally and maintain that masculine frame.
I love you, black man.
How do you know when you're living in fantasy versus reality? When you're living in fantasy versus reality, you only see things your way. And when they don't go your way, you're upset by those things because you believe that you're in control. And what the world will show you, what life will show you, and continuously show you is that we are not in fucking control. We never have. We think we are. Like, our egos really do think that we're in control, but we are really not in control. The more we try to control, the more out of control we become. And it's hard. It's hard. I'm telling you, it's hard, especially, like I'll speak for me, thinking that you have to control every aspect of your life like a fucking Sims game. And the hardest part is letting go and learning to let go, learning to not care as much, learning to just be free, if you will, and not anticipate the pending doom around the corner. And I know that that's due to pain, it's due to trauma, it's due to having feel like you have to protect yourself and that there's no one there that you can rely upon on a consistent level. You know what I mean? No more than yourself. There's no greater power that you're going to have outside of unconditional love for self than self-reliance. You have to be able to look out for you. No one's going to look out for you the way that you do. Not even your own parents, not even your mother. You know, I know they say, mother has the best interest and shit. Some of that ain't true for all of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, some mothers are going through pain, they're dealing with trauma, and they try to project that shit onto you. And you have to know what's best for yourself and practically be disrespectful if it's defined that way of doing what's best for you. That's how I see it. You know what I mean? But living in reality, you accept everyone and everything as it is. You do not try to change like how shit is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can decide whether or not if you want to be around it. But being upset about something you have no control over, you're only hurting yourself. You know what I mean? It's self-harm at that point. Practically suicide of the mind. But like living in fantasy versus living in reality, such as believing that you have the perfect family and that your family is going to want to do all the things that you want to do to have this perfect vision that you have of the family. Meanwhile, that person doesn't like this shit. That person don't even like that person in the family. So trying to build this perfect image is really all rooted in your ego. And I live that. And what's crazy is that I know, I'm reading Will Smith's book right now, and I know that's what he talked about, that time on the Red Table Talk. And it's now canceled, I'm sure y'all know. But one time he was on there, he was just talking about how he wanted to create this perfect family to try to right the wrongs of that pain and shit that he saw in childhood. And a lot of us do that. A lot of us try to make perfection out of flawed individuals. And we are all flawed. You know what I'm saying? So like to see yourself, to understand when you're operating in your pain body versus the soul, the spiritual body. That's another thing I would equate to the fantasy versus the reality. When you're operating in fantasy, you're operating in the ego. The ego lives a very interesting life. You know what I'm saying? Like when you are operating in your ego, you always feel the need to prove yourself to somebody or something. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have the flyest shit. You know, you gotta have the baddest bitch. You gotta have the flyest nigga. You gotta do all these things. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have the newest iPhone. You gotta have the latest of whatever it is. You are never fucking satisfied. And what that makes you is miserable. And it's not to say that it's not a bad thing. You know, everything is perspective. You know what I'm saying? It's not good or bad. But what I'm saying is that gratitude is something that the universe lives off of. The universe, God in the universe feeds off of your ability to show gratitude. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you're not willing to show gratitude for the things that you have, if you're not able to appreciate the current shit that you have because you see what somebody else got, you don't know their story, you don't know what they had to go to get through that, you don't know what gratitude they showed or what have you to get to where they are, but you're not appreciative to what you have. You know what I'm saying? Somebody is somewhere praying for what the fuck you got right now. As fucked up as it might be to you, you know what I'm saying? It's a perspective, you know what I'm saying? It's like you have a person that is trying to have a baby and here you are, pissed off that you know what I'm saying, that your son won't clean his fucking room, your daughter don't clean up the fucking bathroom or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? It's not to say that your gripes aren't valid by any means, but it's just perspective that for us as humans, again, we are no greater than human. Humanity is it. That's as big as it gets. You know what I'm saying? There's plants, there's humans, and you know what I'm saying, various different things in the world, but we are not above anything else. We look very, very small from the galaxy. If you're looking at who you are, where you are right now, the situation that you're in, it shit looks very, very small from the fucking galaxy. You know what I'm saying? Like if you were looking from a telescope, like look at all that shit going on. And you never know what somebody's going through. So it's best to be kind, as much as you can. And do your best not to project your pain onto someone else. And pain triggers pain. And then that pain triggers that pain and all that shit. But one thing that can be said is that love is going to diminish that fucking pain as long as you remain within love. Now, if you do something nice for somebody and they do some fucked up shit to you and you take it personal, then you absorb that pain that they've given. But if you stand firm in your love, in your unconditional love for self and unconditional love for others while having your healthy boundaries, they have to take that gift back. That gift of anger, that gift of pain goes back to them because it ain't has shit to do with you. Nothing anyone does has shit to do with you. But fantasy and reality, fantasy of believing that you're going to be this NBA player. You know what I mean? You're going to, you have this idea of being an NBA player when you grow up. You know what I'm saying? But you don't do anything to get to the NBA. It's more than just saying, obviously saying it. Of course, that's the one part. But now you got to put in the effort. And sometimes it takes more effort depending on your build. Because if I'm a 6'1" person trying to make it to the NBA, the average NBA player is roughly like between 6'3" and, 6'6". So that means you're going to have to work hard on your handles. But you might have come from an area where you've been the center. You know what I mean? Like you have to love the game. That's the reality. Fantasy part is the idea of everything, believing that this is what it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? This is what I want to do with my life. But then there's reality. That's where the work is being put in. You have to put in the work. You're not going to get anything in this life and have longevity with it without putting in work. You have to. There's no shortcuts to this shit. Maybe you got rich folks, rich parents or something like that. If they don't teach you how to manage money, you're going to burn that shit. It will not last long. You have to put in the work. You have to have the mindset that, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it, and this is how I'm going to make it, and I'm going to be focused on this, and you cannot have any fucking distractions in getting to your goals. I don't give a fuck. Girls, guys, drugs, alcohol, food, video games, whatever your vice is that distracts you, you have to eliminate said distraction if you're going to get to your reality based from your fantasy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be so driven, so disciplined. It takes a lot of will fucking power to focus on your goals, especially when there's temptation lurking around every fucking corner. You know what I'm saying? That's the way the universe works. Well, there's gonna be shit in front of you that's trying to distract you from getting to your goal. You have to be cognizant enough to manage that shit so that you can get there. You have to. And in fantasy, everything goes as like the perfect way. You know, there's perfection in fantasy. As to where reality is dealing with flaws, and there's a lot of struggle, there's pain, there's, you know what I'm saying, there's trauma, there's, you know what I'm saying, challenges that are going to come before you. And you have to decide, what am I gonna do? Is this the way I wanna live? Do I wanna live in fantasy and act like everything is hunky-dory, everything is good, you know what I'm saying, sunshine and rainbows? Or am I gonna live in fantasy to where I accept the shit that happens before me, and then I just take whatever cards are dealt and I play the best hand I can do? That's the difference for me between fantasy and reality. Fantasy is all within my mind. It is my direction. I'm the director of my own fantasy. You know what I mean? When you live that way, and not everybody has their role. They don't have the script that you have in your mind. You know what I'm saying? In reality, it's a reality show. You know what I'm saying? There's no script. This is what it is. There's no expectations of anyone. There's no entitlement. You know what I mean? We do our best to maintain our egos, but we live life. You know what I'm saying? We decided this is what we want to do, and we truly have a decision. We are not children anymore. We are not, even though the trauma that we've been through, no matter what we complain about, no matter what issues we have with someone, we are choosing to stay there if we choose to do it. Period. Real shit. We are choosing to stay in the situations that we are in. We might feel like we're trapped mentally, but physically we are choosing to stay. Now, leaving might come with some backlash, it might come with some criticism, and criticism will keep you in some shit if you tend to be a people pleaser. I can speak from experience. Being a people pleaser, hearing criticism, you know what I'm saying, throughout my life has kept me in some fuck shit. Some shit that didn't benefit me, but it benefited that other person or the people around me, you know what I mean? So trying to venture off and do what's best for you, you're gonna piss some people off. And you gotta be willing to accept that. But we gotta make a choice. We're gonna live in fantasy or we're gonna live in reality. What would you say is an upside to a woman that operates in her masculine? Protection. I mean, really, like a woman that can operate in her masculine and knows how to use it properly and effectively. Now, don't get me wrong, it's abused, and that's the women that commonly I tend to speak about, and it's not to tear down women by any means, it's just to let you know that that shit is not attractive whatsoever. But the upside of it, yes, it's just protection. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have this ability to filter out some fuck shit. But for whatever reason, like, as masculine as some women like to operate in their masculine, they tend to let in the main motherfucker that's going to hurt them the most, but they push out the ones that are actually there to show unconditional love. In my experience of working at my job, we had a young lady, you know what I'm saying? She was very standoffish, you know what I'm saying? Definitely within like her masculine, you know what I mean? And like our group, we didn't really have, majority of us, we just came to work to have fun. Like, there was a lot of laughter. There was a lot of just getting the shit done and, funny conversations, healthy conversations, challenging conversations. And then there's this standoff this energy. You know, you can just feel that presence at work. You know what I'm saying? You got that negative energy where you just don't want to be around that motherfucker. But you know, what's crazy is that she wouldn't trust us, who majority is like people that's not going to take advantage of you. But for whatever reason, she believed the word of the individual who did the most manipulating at the job. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy how that is sometimes, where you have a person who is used to being manipulated, not able to read a manipulator in the fucking presence. You know what I'm saying? Like, we tend to push out those who try to show us this form of love, but we let in that form of love that we felt we had to chase, that's familiar. What's best for you versus what's familiar to you. And it's unfortunate that it went that way, but that is how it went down. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like trying to get all that together, you know, and figuring out who's making the best decision. But I mean, ultimately, like I said, that protection, but it comes at that price, where you don't know how to filter out, you know, again, that negative energy. You're not able to see it. You're so focused on being attacked this way that you don't see this attack over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're looking for that familiar attack, but you don't see the blind side. And that blind side gets us all the time. The upside of that masculine energy in a woman, parenting. I mean, it helps out in parenting. Especially, like, I mean, let's say in a perfect world where you have two parents in the home and the father is actually involved with the mother and the kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, truly involved with the kids. Like, the woman defers to his leadership, as it should be. You know what I'm saying? As far as like raising kids, and but he's at work. But they know that mom don't fucking play. Let me tell you, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can tell you, like, from experience, growing up in a black community, there are some, you know, you had some families that had a father that was like feared. He probably had like a military background and shit like that. But let me tell you, there ain't no fear like that of a black mom. You know what I mean? And again, just having to take on that role of, you know, of having to be that strength. Otherwise you get eaten up, you know what I mean? So, like, having that masculine energy is great for a sense of boundary. However, when it comes to dating, that's a whole nother ballgame. Now, another part where I feel like I believe that masculine energy is great for a woman is a teacher. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if you got like the dangerous minds, lean on me type motherfuckers in your class, and they don't know how to act up. Case in point, we had a teacher, a chemistry teacher. It was our first year. We were her first year class in chemistry. This is 11th grade, Miss Ficklin. And Miss Ficklin ever sees this, she knows it's the truth, and I appreciate what you tried to do for us, because what we did was uncalled for. And but she was very timid. A very timid individual with these aggressive ass children, come from homes that probably didn't have fathers in them, or father wasn't close with them to teach them how to deal with their emotions and be respectful. You know what I mean? There was a lot of talk back, you know what I'm saying, talking over her while she's trying to teach. After a point, she lost control of us. Maybe just, I don't know about any other class she had, but as far as us and her class, she lost control of that shit. But had she had, you know, displayed a backbone, has she displayed some, like, instilled some form of fear in these children who were just looking for guidance, you know, just doing it in a way that's just attention seeking, you know what I'm saying? Being loud, trying to be known as a funny person, or, you know, the cocky individual, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you get to that point, it's going to take, I was going to say drastic measures, but you're going to have to show some teeth to kind of reel everybody in. Because she didn't need us. We needed her. We needed her to teach us, like, this lesson so that we could be better at what we did. You know what I mean? And we took advantage of it. We saw weakness and we took advantage of it. So I understand women. I understand why a woman would operate in her masculinity, because she knows, especially like women in the military. You know what I mean? Like, or a male dominant field where you almost pick up those traits and you have to for survival. And I commend those women that have to take on that and still maintain being a woman. That's not an easy task. You know what I'm saying? To do such, you know, wanting to operate, wanting to feel comfortable in being in your feminine energy. But here at this job, you got these motherfuckers that take advantage of you and think that just because you're a woman, that you're just gonna take shit. So having masculine energy for that, it makes perfect fucking sense to me, you know, why you would do so. However, when it comes to dating, I don't recommend that you lead with that masculine energy, because you are going to attract that feminine man that you really are going to repulse. It might seem nice at first. He's doing all these things for you. He's a nice guy. He's a yes man. He does yes, dear. No, yeah, okay, dear. Whatever you say, dear, and all that shit. Eventually, it's going to get old to you. It's going to be. He's going to get so predictable that it annoys the fuck out of you. And one thing that you cannot do, fellas, you cannot bore a fucking woman. You cannot do it. The second that she starts to feel boredom, you know what happens? The eyes roam, all right? Okay, maybe if you got one that was raised on religion, maybe they will be like, oh, you know, I'm doing whatever. But you best believe the clock has started ticking. So it's like learning to be creative, you know what I mean? But nevertheless, back on the subject of just women, the upside of women operating in their masculine. Protection it's really just protection, you know, and understanding a woman can use her masculine energy, but as long as she understands that she's not able to raise a boy to be a man, she's not able to do it, not at all. He's going to pick up the energy of the individual that he was around the most. So if you were raised by your mother mainly, and your father really, like, he was more like a vegetable, if anything like that, you're going to pick up your mother's traits more so than your father's. Don't get me wrong. You're going to mirror what you see, you know? So if you're around your mommy, you're going to pick up what the fuck she does as a man. And again, that results in us men responding emotionally when we get in arguments and not being able to manage our emotional intelligence. And that's, you know, I just believe that that's the side effect of being raised by, you know, solely by the mother. And that's why it's important to have a man in a child's life, whatever. It takes a village, you know what I'm saying, to have a man to show you how to manage said emotions so that we can be healthy. Like all that fighting in school that we used to see and shit. The inability to manage emotions. You have to have your emotional intelligence if we're going to do, you know what I'm saying, get any better with this. But, like I said, that's upside I see of women operating in their masculine. Truthfully, I want to thank each and every woman that has not used her masculinity towards tearing down a man, especially when he's at his lowest. Much appreciation to those women who actually value men, and fuck you to every bitch that does not value man. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, unconditionally. And that's all I got. How would you describe your society? I would describe my society as entitled, oversaturated with dopamine. I would say blessed. My society is more blessed than we give ourselves credit for at times. We're never satisfied with what we have. And thankful to the social media and the internet, we're constantly a bottomless pit. Like, it's never enough. Like, we don't know how to just appreciate shit until it's gone. I mean, we literally live in a society where we call the best basketball player in the world and say he sucked. Some people say it on a daily basis, LeBron James, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're witnessing greatness in front of our very eyes, and we have the audacity to say that that individual sucks. Tom Brady, we got to witness some of the greatest games, whether they cheated or not. Shout out to New England, you know what I'm saying? The cheating it up, fucking Deflate Gate, you know, Spygate, all the gates, Gate Gas out here in Jacksonville, motherfucking Tom Brady everywhere. You know, they got their own fucking gas stations, Gate, but I don't believe we know how to truly collectively appreciate what we have before us. And that is the present moment. Like something has came along, and I think it's abundance, being overly saturated, and we're not really able to appreciate the present moment, the things that we have around us. We can find time to be depressed, and not to say that depression isn't a real thing, and you know, I've definitely been in my own case of depression, my own form of depression. But we can literally be in a house full of so many things and find time to be depressed about the things that we don't have. You know what I'm saying? We can literally be in a relationship with someone who actually takes care of us, you know what I'm saying? And still feel not satisfied, you know, like this isn't what I want type thing, you know? And I know I lived that on both ends, you know what I'm saying? I was taken care of, but it wasn't what I wanted. Then I was taking care of her, not a different her, a different relationship, but I wasn't what she wanted. You know what I mean? Our society is just filled with that shit, right? If it was all about just having your needs met, it's one thing, but there's a certain look that comes to having your needs met. And some people feel it, and other people don't. And like life is, as mentioned earlier, you know, talk about the fantasy and the reality. We tend to get caught up in illusion. You know what I'm saying? We get caught up in there's always something better. But the truth is that there's always gonna be something better. You know what I mean? Like I have to give credit to J. Cole. There's no such thing as a life that's better than yours. Like learning to appreciate what you have in your life, and you decide what's in your life. Really, you're in control of it. You're not a child anymore, and you can decide what you want to keep in your life and what you want to take out of your life, what you want to do with your life, for the most part. You know what I'm saying? I know financially and maybe like job-wise, you know, you might not be doing what you want to do, but you can start the process and working towards doing what you want to do. And don't worry about how long it takes to do that. Time will eventually fade away, which is an Earl Nightingale like quote. I didn't say it like specifically and exactly the way that he put it, but I think you get the message. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever it is that you want to do, don't worry about time. Time will fade away. I mean, think about how fast 10 years has gone by. 5 years this year alone. You know what I'm saying? Like we already in May, and it feels like we were just saying all lang syne, or you know what I'm saying, and back in January. Super Bowl already gone. We're almost at the NBA Finals. Football will be returning pretty soon. That'll be the greatest time of the year. Our society is I believe our society, we're so caught up in what we don't have. And because we focus on what we don't have, which again, the comparison, we're always comparing shit. We're looking outward for validation instead of inward with everything that we have. Like when you sit and think about it, your life is actually, you have a life. I'm not necessarily say it's a good life or bad life, but you have a life. And me, damn it, I have a great life. I have a lot of shit. I do. I have a gang of fucking shirts. I have a gang of fucking hats. I have a lot of movies. I have a lot of music. I have a lot of books now. That's for sure. I mean, that's like been my favorite thing the last 5 years to collect has been books. And not for the look. I mean, it looks great, obviously, having a bookshelf and all that stuff, but actually for applying the knowledge in which I'm reading, ingesting, and being able to share and pass on to my fellow man and fellow woman. But abundance, like I said, not taking into account how grateful it is to have what you have, how it could be gone. You know how it feels like when you're driving around your car and everything is fine. But when you gotta leave your car at like the dealership or wherever you get your tires done and shit like that, and you gotta roll without your vehicle, that shit feel kind of lonely. You know what I mean? Like without your your vehicle, you don't really appreciate it until it's gone. Or if you lose your place, you don't value not having a place until it's gone. You don't, not knowing about work, losing your job or something like that. You don't value it until it's gone. Like these things, people for that matter, friends, enemies, associates, whatever fits the bill, family members that you were once close to that you no longer speak to, friends that you once had and you guys have just grown apart. You've outgrown each other. You value those moments that you once had, and that's why it's so important to live in the present moment when you have it, because it very well could be gone. A person can decide that they don't want to fuck with you no more, and that's the story. It's not a fair thing, it's not an unfair thing, it's just life. And nothing is promised to you. We own nothing, so we should appreciate everything. Like I said, time in life. I don't think people understood how grateful we were to watch Michael Jordan play. Like for those of us who actually got to watch him play. For those of us who got to watch Bo Jackson. For those of us who got to see, Tupac, who got to see Biggie, who got to see Big Pun, Big L, who got to witness pop like that, the Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, O-Town, 98 Degrees, like watching all of that shit play out, or even, let's say for my kid, High School Musical and Camp Rock and all that shit, like being in that present moment, not understanding that we were witnessing something. There was a moment that happened. For those of us who were into wrestling, going through the golden era of seeing like Hogan, Warrior, and Macho Man, Big Boss Man, Akeem, Twin Towers, Legion of Doom, Demolition, like we got to witness a fucking moment. We had to sit in it, you know what I mean? And then like Attitude Era, DX, NWO, all of these things, these are fucking moments that we got to witness that people are still talking about to this day. And we got to create new ones. You know what I'm saying? Like, and our society doesn't know how, I don't believe our society knows how to live in the present moment because we're so focused on being in the next one already instead of living in what we currently have. And life will pass you by. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can have goals and you can work towards things, but be sure to live in the present moment. And our society, like, think about the shooting that happened in Dallas at the fucking mall. 3 kids shot, security guard, I think it was a woman, and I forget what else was killed, but condolences to that family. And we're tired of talking about this shit. I mean, this shit happens all the time. I think about inner city Chicago, South Side, West Side, you know what I'm saying? Like, giving them the same type of compassion, empathy that we give to what makes the news, you know what I'm saying? Because they're shooting and shit out there all the time in Chicago or in Compton or parts of LA, parts of, back home in P-Town, Portsmouth, you know what I'm saying? Norfolk, Hampton, Newport News, like, have the same empathy because they're human. You know what I'm saying? No one human is greater than the other, but let our society describe it. They only talk about when it's a big story and we can care about this shit, but we need to care about everyone. You know what I'm saying? Everyone is human, regardless of your color, regardless of your, you know what I'm saying, like your class that you were born into, poor, rich, middle, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, society itself is a popularity contest for some, man, and it's fucked up. It really is fucked up that we become this way. I mean, it's been that way for, obviously, because it's always been, you know, it's never been equal. It's always been about status here in America, let alone like the fucking world, in my opinion. Like, looking back at shit, and when we realize that we are no greater than being human, that's it. The rich is going to land in the same box that the poor is going to land in when this shit is all over. You know what I mean? And it's like trying to take advantage of being in the present moment, forgiving ourselves, losing perfection, forgiving others, seeing our life as precious, detoxing from our phones, detoxing from social media so that we can live in the present moment. I know for sure, like, again, being, like I said, an addict to this shit, man. That shit fucks with your brain, and it literally makes you almost be ungrateful for what you really do have. You know what I'm saying? You can be depressed because you don't have what that other person has. Then again, another person doesn't have what you have. So it's like a constant thing of like what we don't have, and who really is the who validates like what you got. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you have whatever it is that you want, you're always gonna want something else. I mean, I was always asking for shit every Christmas, you know, like, and that's life though. Like, when you become an adult, every day is Christmas now. So now I can get whatever the fuck I want to get. And, you know, obviously if I got the means to it, if I put my mind to it, got the money for it, I can get whatever the fuck I want. And like, it almost it desensitizes you to the allure of achieving something, because you can get whatever you want. And after a while, it's yeah, you know, that whole thing. Like, when you were a kid and you wanted a video game or you wanted a toy or some shit, you had to wait on it. You know what I'm saying? And then you could be appreciative of it. And you let a year go by, here we go asking for new shit. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're never satisfied, and understanding that we have to learn how to practice gratitude. We're not going to get anything greater. The universe is not going to reward us with more unless we appreciate what we currently have. And our society is just filled with some people that have it and some people that don't. And those of us that have it, some of us like to flaunt that shit and purposely try to invoke jealous behavior in those who don't have shit. And then there's people that truly do get jealous anyway. They have insecurities deep inside, and they get caught up in material things, and then they want to, you know what I'm saying, take whatever those people have. They do feel jealousy. But I believe it's just society is a lot of things, man. Society, it's not like it's not a lost cause for our society, but yeah, society's violent. Society's scary. Society could give a fuck less, you know what I'm saying, about men and their problems and their feelings. Society could care less about race. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we have to be the change we want to see in the world. We have to practice kindness. But healthy boundaries. Let's be clear. Healthy boundaries first, and then we can practice kindness. Is the way I like to see it. But we definitely need to refocus. We need to reprioritize the way we've been moving collectively as a society on shit. You know what I'm saying? And stop with the distractions. The distractions that our society has put us in. Instead of focusing on shit that can actually bring us together, there's always a distraction thrown in there to keep me going at you. Keep my insecurities battling your insecurities, instead of working together and being united. And it's no more prevalent than in the Black community. You know what I'm saying? As they do their best to keep us going at odds at one another. Light skin versus dark skin, Black versus, you know what I'm saying, dark skin versus light skin, women versus men, you know what I'm saying? Women versus women. You know what I mean? Like there's always something, a distraction there to keep us from being united. Our power is in unison, not being divided, you know? And the sooner we all realize that shit, the better off we'll be for our community. But they have trained us a long time ago through, you know, obviously slavery and generational trauma to be crabs in a barrel. So whenever one of us gets on, we're quick to pull that motherfucker down so that we can get up. You know what I'm saying? And there's enough success for everybody. You know what I mean? Like the world is bigger than people give it credit for. And there's enough, again, the beauty of social media and internet, like I said, there's more, there's enough success for everybody to go around. You know what I'm saying? It's just because I get on and I get popping doesn't mean that you can't get on. You know what I'm saying? Like you can do the very same thing if you put your mind to it. But society is wicked, man. It's wicked. But it's life. There's no getting around it. We need some control. We definitely do need to control our urges. We need to control our desires, our temptations. You know what I'm saying, and manage our insecurities a hell of a lot better. And if we can take care of ourselves, we can take care of each other. That's how we do it. I look after me, you look after you, and if we're really doing that, then collectively we're just gonna get better. You know, we're just gonna get better as a society. But we gotta acknowledge it first. We gotta acknowledge we have a problem. If we don't think we have a problem, then everything's gonna remain the same. Why would you want to change if you don't think anything's wrong? Or could use work, if you will. I'm not gonna say wrong, just something that could be more effective for us as humans here on this fucking planet in fucking America. But I do wish us well. I wish everyone watching this positive and healing energy. Forgive anyone, like forgive yourself, forgive others, love yourself unconditionally, work on loving others the same way, because it ain't easy. Pimp it ain't easy, baby. Like, you know what I'm saying? Love yourself unconditionally, and then ultimately you'll learn how to love others the same. Some of my favorite moments with my mother, I would say driving to my grandma's house, listening to the same album the entire fucking way, multiple times. And my brother can back me up on this. Kurt Franklin's, the hell is the name? New Nation Project, the one with the R. Kelly joint. There's a man standing on the corner. Yeah, whatever that album was. BB and CC. Patti LaBelle's Burning album. There was like this mix of a bunch of old soul joints that had Wildflower on there by New Birth. And of course, King Floyd's Groove Me. And a whole bunch of other records, like going to visit my grandma through the years. Another fond memory I have with my mother is of going shopping. And I remember being little enough to go into like Food Line, right? Shout out to everybody back home on the East Coast that knows what Food Line is and where Food Line is, you know what I'm saying? P-Town 757 Suffolk, what's up? You know, but like growing up, being small enough, Food Line used to have this cart that had a large opening in the bottom, so it would like be a ride and shit. So I like sit under the cart, but then I was getting too damn big and lanky. It was like putting an avatar under that bitch, folded up, knees in the chest, you know what I'm saying, sticking up through the cart and shit. But I had to, obviously get removed from that. But I remember putting shit in the cart, you see shit on TV. Like most kids do, like watching a lot of Nickelodeon shows or Disney, and you see commercials that have cereals that come out, whatever the latest thing is, like a Ninja Turtle cereal, knowing that shit was probably horrible. Ma, can I get this, can I get this one? Going to church, Definitely going to church with my mother is a favorite memory for me. I used to always like to do it for many reasons. My ego gets stroked because, especially like when I would come home, like from the military, and girls ain't seen you in a minute in the church, and then it's like, all right, okay. Everybody in everybody in Denzel mode. At least you think that in your mind, but the motherfuckers ain't thinking about you. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But like being up there in the front and seeing Pastor Mariner, and him, and I see him, and he recognized me. He felt validated and seen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to, I grew up in this church, and to come back and wanting to go to church with mom, no matter, what I was into. If I stayed out late, I came in the house at like 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. I wanted to be there with my mother to experience that, you know what I'm saying? Because it just made me feel closer to home. Going to Grove Baptist Church in Portsmouth, you know what I'm saying? I would love to just be there with mom. And then Ma, she would always be upset when we would make jokes. Me and my brother, she still does it to this day, but she laughs. She finds me and my brother to be hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Like when we just when we do people watching, if you will, you know what I'm saying? We start gagging on people up in the church, and it'd be funny. It'd be funny. It was it was definitely funny, but there were just like I said, there's so many moments. The time, what happened? There was one moment where I was home by myself. My brother, I believe, was at Levi Solomon Plumber, like the little daycare shit. He was real young. I think he's like 3 or 4. But it's summertime in the neighborhood in Burbage Grant, and I didn't realize that my brother's window was open, and the wind must have blew his clock down, because I heard that shit hit the ground. I thought a nigga was upstairs. So I was like, I'm getting on my fucking Huffy, my mountain bike, and I'm going over to my friend Darius's house, and I was calling I was like, flustered, you know what I'm saying, scared out of my fucking mind that somebody was in the house. So, the cops go over there and they don't see anything, and I call my mom up and tell them, and she laughing because, like, yeah, it's the alarm clock. It was the alarm clock. That was, the window was on upstairs. But those are some moments, you know what I'm saying, like with mom, when I would always call her at work trying to get shit, you know what I'm saying, calling her trying to figure out if I could eat what was ever in the fridge, and she got real shit going on, and we calling about food. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's some mothers that can relate to their children calling them about the most unnecessary shit on the job, and you got something serious going on. Well, those are shit I would do. I never forget 9th grade. I bullshitted my way through the first half of that year, and mom found out pretty much when she went to get my report cards at in midterms and whatnot. And so pretty much all the teachers we go to is like, yeah, John likes to talk to the girls and he likes to be funny, and I'm sitting there denying it. How the fuck you gonna deny it? And the teacher telling you what the fuck she see right then and there. And then sure enough, getting the report card, and my mother literally asked me, was I doing drugs? That's how bad this shit. I was like, man, I gotta do something. You know what I'm saying? If she thinks I'm on drugs. Because, I pretty much just failed. It was like D, D, F, D, C. Gym was passed. You know what I mean? But for the most part, yeah, them grades were not up to par. I was very much distracted. And it's something that I still try to manage to this day. You know what I mean? Like, as far as like, for me being focused on something I need to work on, I am not allowed. I know me, and I understand why I do what I do when it comes to being distracted by that you know what I'm saying, the female anatomy. And if I do not focus on the goal, I'm going to get distracted by this, and I won't be able to get shit done. So it's like learning that discipline and staying on course and doing what, you know what I'm saying, you've been called to do, your purpose in this life. But what else? Just watching, like being, I mean, I can think back as far as living in Cuba and watching these tapes that my mom used to have, these I Love Lucy tapes that would have like 2 episodes from various seasons in it. And of course, we used to like to watch the Vitamin the Vegemin one, and then like the job switching where they putting the candy in their mouth and shit like that, or when Lucy gets pregnant. You know what I'm saying? And what else? The ballerina joint. When she goes to learn how to be a ballerina for whatever thing. And then when they go to L.A., Harper Marx and John Wayne and Bill Holden, they're all at the what is it called, the Brown Derby. Yeah, they go to the Brown Derby, and Lucy sees Bill Holden, and it's funny. You know what I'm saying? It's just funny. But like those memories that I have with my mother that you know, that I cherish and grateful for. Going to yeah, like my mother being at my little league games. You know what I'm saying? Like the T-ball ones. And then my brother was little then, like he was like just born. So to see, you know what I'm saying, like see him, he used to have a mohawk or whatever. It's a cute little baby, handsome man now, but cute little baby. And you know what I'm saying, like they're just little memories. But Mother's Day is very, very appreciated by me. More so for every mother. I mean, obviously we wouldn't be here without that, and it wouldn't be anything without obviously us putting that dick inside you and having the baby, of course. But you know, like for those mothers that give their everything, you know what I'm saying, and it can be tough when your kid has comparisons, and that's what I'm saying. Like being a kid in today's society, you know about so many things that go on at different houses. I know I did. You know what I mean? And not realizing that your parents did the best they could. Namely, like your mother did the best she could with the knowledge she had, even if you feel like you know more than what she does. You know what I'm saying? And it very well might be the case, but she gave us all she could give us. She gave us the best she could do, what she felt she could do, in the best way she knew how. Wasn't always effective, wasn't always, you know, wasn't perfect. But I know that I got here in this position where I am because I had a mother that spoke to a recruiter, an Air Force recruiter, and pretty much said that she wanted her son to have a high profile job away from, you know what I'm saying, the bullshit, like the shooting, the explosions and all that stuff. And had it not been for that, I wouldn't be where I am. So, you know, I don't know where I would be. I mean, I was a kid that I once was okay with just working at Hex, a department store, as a dock boy, and working at McDonald's, and was like, I can live like this. You know what I'm saying? And that's, you know, it's juvenile mind and not knowing any better. But I had a mother that knew, you know, that she wanted more for her son. She wanted him to get the fuck out of Virginia and do something with his life. So I'm eternally grateful for my mother having the know-how, even whatever she had to say, that I'm gonna get Romy out of Virginia, get him away from the nest so that he can become something. And he became something. He's still becoming things, you know what I'm saying? And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the love that my mother has given me, the love that my mother has given my brother, the love that my mother has given like a lot of little kids, you know what I'm saying? Like my mom teaches at church school, you know, at Grove, and you know, she's a teacher there. And then of course, like my little cousins, you know, in the family, my mother does things for, you know, she tries to look out for them. And like I said, my mother's hilarious too, like a comedian by all means, and you know, wants to make everybody laugh, does her best to make people laugh. I think, you know, it might be a way of getting validation and all that stuff, but what can I say, man? I'm just great. I'm grateful for Mama, Mama Cheryl, Aunt Red. You know, it's my mommy's nickname. But okay, like I said, there's so much that can be said about how, like the great things about my mother. And what can I say? I'm just grateful that I can call her my own. That she's my mommy. But you know, we want to take this time just to say Happy Mother's Day to every mother that is watching this right now. Thank you for what you've done. You know, your contributions in getting your children where they are, regardless of the mistakes that you've made, and just understand that, you know, you're doing the best you can with the knowledge you have. Shout out again to every mother in the world, you know, on this weekend for Mother's Day. And shout out to every mother watching this that's, you know, that's a fan that supports this. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate what you do for my nieces and nephews, and you know, again, just friends, family friends, and friends that have become family. All of that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I see you. I appreciate you. I appreciate what you guys do. Everything you put into a birthday party, everything you put into doing homework, everything you put into yelling at them to stay in line the best you can. And of course, just showing up for events when you can, when you're not working. It's a hustle. You know what I'm saying? Like, just putting that effort into the things that you do is well appreciated. But to my mommy, I love you. Happy Mother's Day.